Hello all, this is JC3 from Is This Real? Do you want to start your own podcast? Then look no further than Buzzsprout.com. We here at Green Hour Media use Buzzsprout, and we love the team at Buzzsprout. They are all about helping you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. Follow the link in our show notes to let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. It gets you a $20 paid Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan and helps support our show. Join us and over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout.com to get your message out to the world.
From the Keith Vincent Kayla Studios in Paterson, New Jersey, Green Arrow Media presents Is This Real? Tonight's episode, The Mothman, Real or Not? And now our host, JC3.
Welcome, everybody, to another fantastic episode of Is This Real? Tonight, as usual, we have our hosts among hosts. Or, you know, I'm the host among hosts.
Wait, I just did the intro. I'm not hosting anything.
Shut up. So, Dad, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Mr. West, wake up.
Konbanwa.
Mr. Roblox son.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody?
And I'm JC3, and we are Is This Real as usual. This week's episode is about the Mothman, as Dad
I gave
said.
him that nickname, by the way.
Yes, you did.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is about the Mothman and whether or not we believe the Mothman is real. Now, the Mothman is from Point Pleasant, not New Jersey, West Virginia. I know we had a little mix-up last week about whether or not which state we're talking about. This week, we're actually all on the same page.
Hey, it came out better because of it, okay?
Listen, you were about to be in Canada, all right?
That was a joke.
You're a lying-ass motherfucker. All right. So the Mothman. Dad, you want to give us a little history about the Mothman?
Yeah, 1966, there are a couple of people who were driving down a what they call the TNT section of the Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And when they called it the TNT section, it was because there was an old battery, an old gunnery there from World War II. And basically, they saw this giant creature flapping its wings and following him in the car. And they said that, when they shine a light on it, the eyes glowed red. So it kind of was huge, and they didn't understand what it was. Now, flash forward a little bit. The reason basically they called it a Mothman, because it kind of resembled a moth. And at that time, you had... it was 1966, so it was really the end of the Batman series, the Adam West, Burt Ward Batman series. And they had a villain that was the Mothman. So kind of like they picked it up from... I did not know about that. They picked it up from there, and it actually... it took a life of its own, and then, it predicted
the moth. I remember that.
It made predictions.
Now it's ringing.
Now, if you saw the movie, I'm sorry, the movie to me was just some realistic shit, some not.
Oh, so right now you're talking about the Mothman Prophecy.
Prophecies, correct. It was a good movie, don't get me wrong. I think Richard Gere was great in it. It was a really, really good movie. But it had a little bit kind of like, almost like Groundhog Day.
Butterfly effect.
Yeah, kind of stuff like that. So
A fleck.
But having said that, I enjoyed the movie, but the movie didn't really do much for me as far as believing this. However, the question still remains, did this thing actually predict the bridge to collapse, killing, I don't know how many people were killed that day.
I believe it was about like 40, 45, 46, something like that.
Right.
Was,
so, did it actually predict that? I think that's more of a question that we should ponder. How you prove that, who knows? But that's basically it. And then after, I think it was 1967 or 68, you really didn't see this thing anymore. There was no, it was just became a part of folklore. So that's basically from 67 to now. It's, stories, who sees it. And then, of course, you're going to have people cropping up and say, well, I saw the Mothman, or I saw this, or, and again, who knows? But that's basically the entire thing of the Mothman was 67 to 66 to 67. And that's where we're at right now. So that's, it's
I
pretty
do have
sure.
I do have a couple more sightings, I guess you would call it.
Okay.
But not in Point Pleasant. Apparently, according to Georgian newspaper, now Georgian the country, not the state.
Georgia's the country, as in Russia?
Yes.
Okay.
According to Georgian newspaper,
Eastern Europe.
Svobodnaya Gruzia. I'm just gonna. It's Russian. All right, leave me alone.
It's Slavic.
Whatever. Russian ufologists claim that Mothman sightings in Moscow foreshadowed the 1999 Russian apartment bombings.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck?
And then in 2016, WCHS-TV published a photo purported to be a Mothman taken by an anonymous man while driving on Route 2 in Mason County, West Virginia. Excuse me. Science writer Sharon A. Hill proposed that the photo showed a bird, perhaps an owl, carrying a frog or snake away, and wrote that there is zero reason to suspect that is Mothman described in legend. There are too many far more reasonable explanations. So there's the Mothman.
The Mothman.
As you have the description, you said he has red eyes, really big wings, and apparently
You sound like a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
apparently, if I have it right, so if your normal height for an average male is 6 foot, right? You would say that would be the normal.
Yeah, anywhere from like 5'8" to 6 foot. Yeah, it's about the average height.
Apparently, this Mothman is about, without the wing height, he's about 6'5". With the wing height, he's about 7'5". Now that's height, not width, like the wingspan. Apparently, has a 10-foot wingspan.
That's pretty freaking big.
And, nobody has really actually seen what he actually looks like. They just see the red eyes and a glowing shadow.
See, but it's funny to me with the Mothman. Like, I know we're going to do the Jersey Devil in a couple of weeks, but if you kind of look at the both of them together, they kind of give you the same presence of what they look like. So, I mean,
That's it.
giant wings.
The Mothman is the Jersey Devil that took a vacation in West Virginia. That's exactly what it is.
So he went from the Pine Barrens in Toms River in Lacey Township, and he decided to go to Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Yeah,
He thought it was Point Pleasant, New Jersey.
The name sounded similar. Come on now.
Oh, my God.
Well,
Can't blame him. He's from Jersey.
Well, speaking of what it looks like, no one can sit there and probably definitively say what it looks like, but I find it odd because
I know what it looked like.
Because in my
No,
research,
you're just high.
No,
There's a
I
difference.
know what it looked like.
Anyway, Josh, you're saying? I'm
Yeah,
glad
he-
somebody's fucking talking.
he probably knows what I'm getting to. Maybe, seeing as how no one really knows what it looks like, the oddest fact I found when doing some research is that there's a legitimate Mothman statue. And I'm not joking. I have it up on my phone right now, and I can show you guys. And it's pretty much the same description that Joey just said. About like 6 foot something, and then the wings itself is probably about a good 10 feet. All around.
See, that statue, though, as I'm looking at it,
And it's terrifying that they got into so much detail with it because it has the red eyes. It has something that may look like a moth human face and the wings and everything. And I believe it's made out of metal, like steel,
Yeah.
if I'm correct.
the funny part, I'm looking at the statue right now, and that statue has like a butterfly moth wings.
Is that the silver one?
Yeah.
Yep.
But the original,
Yeah.
if you listen to original reports about it, they say this thing more has like angel wings than like.
You know what
moth
that fucking
wings.
thing looks like? I mean, how many here are familiar with the Munsters, the TV show from the 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard
Okay.
of it and seen it.
In the Munsters, they had what they had a it was a creature of the Black Lagoon. They called him Uncle Gilbert.
Mhm.
God, that name. Anyway, if you look at this, I mean, he looks like Uncle Gilbert. He's got the giant hands that look like webbed hands or whatever, and the feet. He looked like he's got chicken feet.
He looked like a lizard person.
Yeah.
Shout out to our former episode. No, he actually looks like, I don't know if I know Dad you won't, but I know Josh and Eric might. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, the Mr. Ooze at the end.
Oh, I was gonna say, are you talking about Goldar? But you said Mr.
Well,
Ooze.
Goldar, but the Ivan Ooze at the end when he gets into
when
that
he had
big bug
wings,
thing.
Yeah, wings, and he turned into a bug.
It looks exactly like that.
Yeah, I could see
for
that.
all of our younger generation
Yeah.
that didn't know the Munsters.
Yeah, that's probably about the same.
There's a little bit more information on here, though. Folklorist Jan Harold Brunvind notes that the Mothman has been widely covered in popular press, some claiming sightings connected with UFOs, and other claiming that a military storage site was Mothman's home.
A what?
A military storage site.
Yeah, the TNT section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brunvind notes that the recountings of the 1966-67 Mothman reports usually state that at least 100 people saw Mothman, with many more afraid to report their sightings, but observed that written sources for such stories consisted of children's books or sensationalized. So I said that right. Sensationalized, thank God. Or undocumented accounts that fail to, quote, identifiable persons. What? Leave me alone, all right? I got one word messed up tonight. But there is a festival that happens every year since 2002. It is called the Mothman Festival. And we'll talk more about that when we get back from break. Are you looking for a vinyl LP or cassette tape, 45 RPM? If so, you've come to the right place. Golden Spins. We have thousands of titles in stock and ready to ship. Call us at 862-336-2275 or go to our store at discogs.com/seller/goldenspins/profile. We can find whatever you may need. We proudly accept PayPal and every major credit card. And we are back. Yes, we are back. So, I was talking about the festival, or at least we were going to talk more about the festival when I came back from break. So, like I said, Point Pleasant, they held its first annual Mothman Festival in 2002. The Mothman Festival began after brainstorming creative ways for people to visit Point Pleasant. The group organizing the event chose the Mothman to be the center of the festival due to its uniqueness and as a way to celebrate its local legacy in the town. According to the event organizer Jeff Wamsley, the average attendance for the Mothman is estimated between 10 to 12,000 people per year. A 12-foot, now this statue we're talking about before, a 12-foot metallic statue of the creature created by artist and sculptor Bob Roach, was unveiled in 2003. The Mothman Museum and Research Center opened in 2005, and the festival is held on the third weekend of every September, hosting guest speakers, vendor exhibits, pancake eating contests, and hayride tours of locally notable sites. What the fuck does pancake eating contest have to do with the Mothman?
Nothing.
The motherfucker like pancakes, bro.
First things first, like Josh and I were talking about before.
His eyes glow red and they pour out syrup when he cries.
What the...
Eric?
I was on to something until, Aunt Jemima over here had opened his mouth. Now, I don't quite understand why you would want to celebrate having a festival over something that supposedly predicted the collapse of a bridge killing 46 people. To me, that's like, you'd want to forget about that. If this thing is that terrifying, why are people trying to celebrate it?
Pagan.
Well, you think that's something?
It could be pagan shit.
No, if you think that's something, the author John Keel of the Mothman Prophecies,
Right.
They allegedly have either the original or a copy of his suit readily available for every festival,
It's fucked
like
up.
on display.
And he's the guy who wrote a book.
Mm-hmm. It would be like, I haven't heard of any, but doesn't New Jersey have anything, have like any type of festivals or some shit to do with the Jersey Devil?
Never heard of it. If they do, I can't say that. I'm not going to say.
Nothing in the South or anything?
I'm not going to. I've never heard of anything. I'm not going to say
South
no.
of Jersey?
Yeah, the South of Jersey, bro. That's the South.
In the south of Jersey.
I don't know.
Funny little factoid, as Joshua likes to call them. In June of 2020, a petition that started to replace A petition was started to replace all Confederate statues in the United States with statues of the Mothman. As of March 2021, the petition has garnered nearly 5,000 signatures.
Say what?
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Wow.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win seal. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics.
We're not gonna get we don't get political on this show, but that's fucking funny.
That's hilarious.
Like legitimately funny. Like you're right though. For something that apparently has taken the lives of 47. Well, not okay. We can't blame the bridge collapsing on the Mothman.
No, I even think in the movie it wasn't blamed on him, but he was telling Richard Gere, "This is going to happen. This is going to happen." This is gonna happen.
Apparently, the sighting of Mothman, the legend, from what I understand from doing the research, is that the legend of the Mothman was more of the fact that for some reason the presence of the Mothman itself was a precursor to a tragic event.
Right.
That led to that little phrase or legend because of the fact that it was spotted before that bridge collapsing.
Right.
But that was the only instance, at least what I saw. And then, what Joey mentioned, the one spot in
Russia
with
the bombing.
Apparently, they saw that before there was some kind of a severe bombing.
Yeah.
So I think maybe there's something there that people are trying to connect together of it having some kind of a negative effect, or it being, like I said, a precursor to a tragic event.
Right.
If there was more instances, I could probably actually see that being a bigger coincidence or a connection. But if there's only like one instance and technically two from Russia or whatever, but I can't really see it, to be honest. I'm not sure where they would go with that or where else it could come from.
Mm-hmm. That's, to me, it's just like, I mean, you got people that are, they say they had glowing eyes that had a hypnotic effect. Several witnesses, including women during their menstrual periods, were chased by the Mothman creature into their home.
It smelled the blood.
Some described as a huge bird, others like a huge bat. Due to the absence of feathers and smooth skin, all the descriptions agree, however, that the large red eyes, the diameter which reaches 5 centimeters, which is fairly big, seemingly endowed with paralyzing power. Again, they connect it with UFOs. They connect it with, people that are on mind-altering substances.
Well, yeah, I have something here. It says some pseudoscience adherents, such as ufologists, paranormal authors, and cryptozoologists claim that Mothman was an alien, a supernatural manifestation, or a previously unknown species of animal.
Yeah. Again,
I'm going to go Pops on this one.
No photos, no videos, just what Josh said. Somehow this thing just appeared before a major disaster. So
I got you right now.
Go ahead. Here it comes.
I got you.
Are you
right
ready?
Now.
Drum roll.
I got you right now. What if this town was an experimentation of Project MK Ultra, and these people were hallucinating?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I know exactly what he's talking about. MK Ultra basically is mind control.
Yeah, please explain.
CIA operations that was going on back in the 60s, using mind-altering substances on people throughout the entire country. That and like they were like really like dosing these people up with like LSD and shit like that. So what if this town was one of I am not
laughing at you.
Yes, you are.
All I'm saying,
you know what? He
comes up with this idea about mind-altering substance on a mind-altering substance.
You know what? Sometimes about hey, come on now, come on. To be honest with you, I mean, I know this is not what we're talking about.
It's not that far of a stretch.
What was that? What was that writer? Edgar J. Whatever the hell his name was.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, it's got the jello. I don't know why. Edgar Allan Poe wrote all his fucking stuff on LSD.
I thought he was.
He was a fucking major LSD head.
I thought he was just weird because he married his sister.
Well, that would be weird, yeah. But I mean, again, so don't poo-poo that.
So we're blaming the LSD for all of his problems.
It's like Guns N' Roses when they were all dirtbags and scumbags and living under a rock. They put out great music. They got a little bit of money, and all of a sudden they sucked. That's my opinion.
Yeah, music.
Well, anyway, it's a nice theory brought in again. MK Ultra. Yeah, what was the name of that movie a couple years ago? Something about they blew up goats or something. I can't think of
the men that
stare at goats.
The men who stare at goats.
That's a whole movie. That's a true story, and that's all about MK Ultra. Okay,
it's a funny ass movie, bro.
It is, but it's based loosely, not loosely. It's really based on what was going on and. From the 40s right on.
Didn't that have George Clooney in it?
Yeah.
It did, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, MK Ultra is from what was going on with Israel and everything else, it's very, very dangerous stuff. But anyway, you know what, again, that's just a theory. There's no connection that I can see that the Mothman, I can't see any connection. I got no video, I got no proof, I got nothing. And it's driving me crazy.
My reasoning is only because that those experimentations were going on in the 60s. They ended back, I think, in 72. And a lot of that stuff was, like classified and destroyed and stuff. So,
well, if it's done, the government, you'll never find out.
We're gonna take a short little break right now, and then we'll talk more about this when we get back.
Hey, how you doing? You like movies? We like movies. You like music? So do we. And books, and video games, and television. We are Multimedia Mafia, and we like to discuss all of those things. And we drop a new episode every single Wednesday. So come check us out, or a couple of guys from Jersey is going to pay you a visit.
And welcome back. So before we went on break, we were talking about the MK Ultra experiments, apparently, that me and Joshua had no fucking idea of. That Mr. West over there, in all of his highness, came out of just put it on us.
Like you and your baseball, completely out of left field for me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Out of left field.
You're welcome.
And it's funny. It's funny because Eric will have these tidbits.
It's West.
You're right. Mr. West will have these tidbits, and like everyone, like I'll sit there and go, "Yeah, okay, I see what you're talking about." And sometimes Josh, very rarely does Dad go, "Yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about," and Dad turn around and be like, "He's right about this."
That was definitely a first for me, at least I think.
That's why me and Josh just looked at each other with, "Wait, what?" Like our brains came to a halt.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway,
so
told you it was a good surprise.
Joshua, you want to talk about one of the first sightings?
Well, yeah. To Mr. West's point, for mind-altering drugs, I don't know how real it could be, but if we're gonna do a little quick tidbit before we end the episode about sightings, I did read at one point. I don't know if it would contribute to it, but. They reported that they saw the creature, the Mothman itself, and they started driving away, trying to get away from it. But unfortunately, they reported that it followed them for several miles, I believe, and that they were going anywhere upwards of 100 miles an hour, and apparently it was able to keep up with them the entire time, basically almost to when they got home. I don't know how true that is, and maybe that could be explained by mind-altering drugs like Mr. West said. I don't know, that's with you. I mean, Dad, do you think that something like that?
Again, what could it have been? That's the thing. I mean, they're saying it was a Mothman, but what about, chasing you 100 miles?
100 miles an hour.
100 miles an hour for how far?
Good several miles. I think they were going, I believe it was one of those things where they were traveling from state to state. and they were trying to go home. And in West Virginia, that's when they saw the sighting, and they started chasing them for.
This is one of the first sightings.
One of the first ones, yes. I
so
believe.
this was they at that point you can't say that it was a Mothman because they didn't know it was a Mothman at that point.
Yeah.
So again, it could have been. It's hard to say that it could have been something. Now, just I'm going to pose a theory for you out there. What if, and going back to the Skinwalker Ranch thing about opening up of what would you call those portals?
Yeah.
What if just what if something like that happened in West Virginia and this thing came through at certain times and was intelligent enough to go back to where it came from. Again, there's no evidence of this. I'm purely speculation on my part. But what if, just think about it. Well, what if there is something out there where these portals are opening up and these creatures are coming through and causing all kinds of havoc, excuse me. And then having the gift of knowledge, if you're coming through a portal from another dimension, you're going to know what's going on. I mean, you have to be able to know what's going on. And what if they knew, I'm going to show them, it's friendly, but I'm going to show them, when I appear, there's going to be something going on. There's a bridge collapse, get off the bridge. There's something going to happen to it. Or if it happened in Russia with the shootings, that's a theory that can be thrown out there, again, based on not a lot of evidence, because there really is no evidence unless somebody grabs him, puts a chain on his fucking leg and ties it to a lamppost. You're not going to have it. But you got to start wondering where are these sightings credible? Are the people that are saying it?
I can see it.
Are they? They're not like the town drunk. What could this possibly be at that point? I mean, that's another thing I just want to throw out there.
I have. We were talking before about the guy who took a photo in 2016, 2017. Is
that the one that's flying over the power lines?
Yeah, and I have the photo, the series of photos right here. Like the first photo to me, it looks like a bird, like just a bird coming off of like the trees. And then the second photo, which is the more popular photo, is it looks to me like an angel toy was thrown into the air.
Right.
And someone just took a fucking photo of it.
That's a problem with photos.
It's very grainy, and it's at night.
It's always funny. Everybody's got these great cameras. Everybody's got a fucking camera. Who's got a cell phone. You got a cell phone 75 that, they could take pictures.
A cell phone 75.
Well, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, Mr. Technology. That you can take pictures of, of somebody's asshole if you want.
I knew he was going with asshole. I was just, it was in my mind and he said it.
Okay.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history. We also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United, and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
But yet somehow every picture, either a UFO or the Mothman or Gistugats or this and that, everything's grainy. Everything's fucking grainy.
We're going Italian in this episode too.
I thought that was French.
Wow. Dude.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, I don't know, if you guys really want to go look at these photos of the Mothman, just search up the Mothman, look at the photos. Of course, you're going to get the statue. It's one of those 10-foot statues.
It's ugly as shit.
It's fucking creepy looking.
Ugly, bro.
I would not want to just trip upon it in the middle of the night. Nah, I'd probably shit myself. Nah, see, I couldn't do that.
If this thing is real, then it's keeping a really good low profile. But it has built up a cottage industry, books, movies, festivals, TV shows.
Oh, maybe someone's built a cottage. I don't know.
The freaking Mothman is a lizard person.
Somebody's making buco money on this stuff. And
What about-
With wings.
I guess that's fine.
It's a dragon.
What about one last quick little tidbit that I read, and I don't know if you can pitch in on this, Joe. Apparently, after more than 100 people said they saw the creature, well, this is over the years. At least 100 people have reported to seeing it. And like you said earlier, Killer Moth was a villain on popular Batman TV show, which is what they came to name it.
Mr. West.
They think
Adam
those are some theories on it, but there is one little tidbit. I don't know if you've heard of this, that some people believe that the Mothman is an Indian omen, and it was sent to warn the city of impending doom coming as the result of an ages-old curse put on Point Pleasant by Shawnee war chief Cornstalk in the 1700s.
There you go.
You know, maybe these Indians should stop putting curses on
You know,
lands.
that
You know what?
would be the
Maybe
only,
they should stop fucking with some shit. You know what? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe these
that
white
would be
people
the
should just something called
only-
minding their business.
That would be
minding their business.
That would be the only theory that I would actually give credit to. Whenever you start dealing with stuff like that, like Indian curses, you know, again.
Okay,
we go
this
back to
might might really push our episode a little bit longer because that pisses me off. How are you going to sit there and have everything in the town be fine in one instant, see this bird type of thing, be like, the Indian back in the 1700s put a curse on this land, and that's why the bridge fell in 1967.
This is why we got to put the cameras up, because what you just did is amazing. I mean, you
That
were like
pisses-
talking like fucking
No, but
flapping your
that
finger in the air. And
Pisses me off. Everything.
a curse is a curse, dickhead.
I understand a curse is a curse, but you could sit there and say that at any point in the land, because when the white man came over and took the land from the red man, you could sit there and say, you know, the red man put the curse on there.
What an asshole.
At any point in history, you could say that. That's why something happened there, because an Indian
Joshua,
cursed the land.
did the Indian chief curse the land? Is that what it's saying?
It's basically a myth of what they're saying.
It's a
they
myth.
have like
It's
a
a
legit
myth.
name, War Chief Cornstalk, as I said. Whether that's real or not is a different thing. Like I said, that's just another little tidbit that I found.
Right.
But they were saying that's back in the 1700s.
See, I could believe that. Again, I would go back to the Skinwalker stuff like
But
that.
that's my point.
I
There's
believe
always
that.
a curse. This is cursed. That is
Okay,
cursed.
and when we
I'm gonna
all-
bring that thing the thing from the mummy too.
Okay,
This
and when
is
we
cursed.
all live on stolen land, what do you think will happen
Oh, you know what?
eventually?
Then they should
If
have fought
there's
more
certain-
for it.
If there's
Dead
if
air.
there's certain areas, like we said on previous episodes,
Hit 'em.
where there was shamans who were more powerful than others, it could be a possibility. It depends on if you believe in black magic or spells.
Well, you do
or
know there
curses
was
and
witches
stuff
back
like
in the
that.
1600s, 1700s also that weren't Indian
All right, It
or
doesn't
Native American.
matter.
Sorry,
It doesn't matter.
But how many
Witchcraft, black
curse some
magic.
people?
we don't know that.
We do know that.
Well,
What do
we
you-
don't because they were fucking hung up, which we actually never have to. Can we do that in the next season? Can we do an episode on
Can we
Salem?
finish this one first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All I'm saying is I'm
Jumping
tired. I'm
the gun
tired.
there a little there,
I'm
buddy.
tired of hearing about Native American curses.
How could you be tired of it if it's an actual? It's more of a fucking a plausible theory than anything else that they're saying. I mean, if you think about it, that makes a lot of sense.
Then that could be the reason for anything that happens in America, because most of America was Native American land.
Jesus fucking Christ! Why? Why?
Am I wrong?
Yes.
So most of America was not Native American land.
No, I don't think you meant you're wrong, like in that sense.
No. Oh dear God, I can't anymore. This is a test of endurance.
No, it's not a test of endurance. You just don't know what to say because I'm right.
No, you're not right. You have zero evidence.
And you have even less evidence than that.
If Chief Cornstalk, or the fuck his name is, put a fucking curse on the thing, then what do you think's gonna happen?
How do you know?
It says it
could
right
have been-
there.
It said someone you said it was a lore, right? Or,
Yeah, some
or
people
a myth.
believe that-
Some people believe. Okay, that means some white cat lady back in 1967 who was sitting there with a fucking cat and said, "Oh, that's why the bridge fell, because the white man came and stole the Indian man land." Because we have people who think like that. We have people who think the bad jujus back in the fucking 1700s have come around now, and that's why we're in the predicament we are.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
In the Skinwalker Ranch episode, what was yours? Did you believe it or not?
I could believe that, yes.
So then why the fuck can't you believe this one?
Because the Skinwalker Ranch has a timeline about what is has a timeline of history that has happened. This has happened. These are hundreds and hundreds and years of shit talking. We're talking about one instance of this motherfucker popping up and say, hey, yo, the bridge about to fall. And then people be like, yeah, that's why the bridge fell. Or he was trying to warn us about the bridge falling. And then we have nothing else. We have nothing else back in Point Pleasant. Wait, I'm talking.
Oh, I know you are. It's all you do is talk.
We have no other instance in Point Pleasant where something bad happened and the Mothman popped up and said, hey, yo, hey, that's going to happen. Nothing like that. And then one instance
when did the fucking Mothman turn into Scott Hall?
I'm just saying. Hey, yo. I'm just saying. That's
hey,
just...
Jingo. I mean, come on.
And then to turn around and say one instance, oh, that's because it's a curse. Shut the fuck up.
Josh, can you mute that motherfucker's mic?
Don't you touch my mic,
pissing me off.
Talk about extreme skepticism
I still think it's MK Ultra.
on Joey's part, and there's Eric. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
But that bridge did fall.
I think, yes, it did fall.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but
the bridge did fall.
Rest in peace to them people.
I can see both sides. Joey being skeptical because it was only one instance, but with history, you can
if you had 200, 300 years of something happening in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, or New Jersey, we don't know which yet, whichever one, if we had hundreds and hundreds of years of shit just miraculously happening or mysteriously happening, then yes, I could see that's why it was cursed. But no, we had one instant, and then everybody started to make a fucking festival out of it.
All right, like I said, I understand your skepticism. I see both sides.
Even though I still want to go visit, Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and see that festival.
Talks all this big, but still wants to go there anyway.
Because it sounds fun. They probably have food trucks.
Your fat ass.
He wants to go because of the festival. There's probably some barbecue thing down there that he wants to go to investigate. You know, the Mothman burger, the Mothman fries. You know how it is.
That sounds actually delicious. Just imagine.
Speaking of Mothman, ladies and gentlemen, let's just ask the question so we can end this.
Please, I just want to go to fuck. I've had enough of you assholes this week.
Mothman, gentlemen.
Dad, we'll start with you.
Is this real?
I would go with the theory that Josh brought up. If that's the only plausible theory I can say, that this thing not so much was maybe it was a curse, but it was a curse to a protective curse. In other words, it wasn't where something would be cursed like the Skinwalker Ranch where it's evil. This was cursed, not so much cursed, but this thing was sent to predict and help. Now, that's just a fucking theory. I have no evidence, okay? I have no evidence just as much as you have all the evidence of an expanding waistline. Okay. Now,
Eric,
do you believe...
Mr. West?
Mr. West.
No.
Okay.
It's like a game show. I'll take the booth behind the door number 3, please.
Joshua.
I will say no as well. It is only a handful of people that have sightings that have been reported. There's only one instance, at least here in the U.S., that has happened, and there's really no credibility. So I would say no. I think it could be something interesting if it was real, but you would have to sit there and ask the question, where the hell has it been this whole time? So regardless, I'll just say no.
Fuck no.
All right.
One instance of this fucking thing, and I want to know how many other major accidents have happened in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, that wasn't predicted by Mr. Mothman. If there was any other major accidents that has happened in West Virginia, or Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and he didn't show up, then... If he did show up, then maybe I could sit there and go, yeah, okay, this could be a real anomaly or a real, creature that we could sit there and talk about.
You're a real man of the moth.
Yeah, a real man of the moth. But no, it happened one time. And for someone to say, oh, it was a curse, that's why. Shut the fuck up.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.
All right. So, on next week's episode, we are going to be talking about the great and powerful Firebird. What is it?
Thunderbird.
Thunderbird, not Firebird.
Zapdos.
Electric, not fire. There we go. Thunderbird, Zapdos, if you will.
We're going to talk about Zapdos.
Pokemon. No. Yeah, so next week's episode, we're talking about the Thunderbird of the southern western region.
You get it. Get it together, man.
Yes.
It's just Zapdos.
So we're going to close out tonight's episode.
Mm-hmm. We started that 10 minutes ago, but go ahead.
You know what? He brought up a theory, and I had to debunk that theory right there.
All people right now are going, I mean, I can just hear it now. They're going, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, and you said that about the Shadow People episode. You said it about the 2 episodes we did previous,
right.
And they're all above 50 downloads. So I don't want to hear you. You sit there with your glasses above your forehead and just shut the fuck up. Good night, everybody.
Good night, douche lips.
Oh, Yatsumi.
Good night.
Good night.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc or on Twitter at isthisrealpc or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.